You carry a lot into the night. You carry the small things that pin you down. You carry the big things that keep you awake. You carry worries about work, family, money, and health. You carry old hurts and new disappointments. You carry expectations you could not meet today. You carry a list of should-haves and could-haves. You carry the quiet voice that says you are not enough. You carry a fear of tomorrow, like a weight on your chest. You think the only solution is to plan more, do more, and fix more. You think rest must wait until everything is right. That idea wears you down even more. It becomes a misunderstanding about God and about you. You imagine God as a judge who keeps a scoreboard. You imagine God waiting for you to perform. You imagine rest as a reward you must earn. That is not the gentle truth you need tonight. God does not only love you when you are successful. God loves you in your tiredness and your confusion. God does not measure you by a scoreboard of achievement. God meets you in your small steps and your broken pauses. Your feelings of being late, behind, or unseen are real. They are honest signals from a heart that needs care. They do not mean you are failed or forgotten. You may be telling yourself that rest is for better people. You may be telling yourself that rest is for later. Never now. Your soul wants to hear a different story. Let me help you find one tonight. Psalm 13 says, and it lets us say out loud what we feel when days are hard and God seems distant. It speaks for those moments when you wonder how long the pain will last. It tells us that it is okay to bring the questions to God, and it shows that being honest with God is part of faith, not a sign of weakness. When you read that psalm in your heart, you see someone who is real and honest before God. You see a person who moves from asking and grieving to trusting. That gives you permission to be honest too. It means you can bring your heavy thoughts to God without pretending to be stronger. It means your questions are not disqualifying. You are allowed to say how you feel. You are allowed to be tired. You are allowed to be confused. You are allowed to not have all the answers. Your unrest does not make you a bad person. It makes you human. When you give voice to what you carry, you begin to let it go. When you name the weight, the pressure loses its secret power. When you admit you are worn out, you open a small door for grace. The door may feel narrow at first, but it opens. Take a breath now. Breathe slowly and gently. Feel the cool air enter your chest. Feel your shoulders drop a little. Give yourself permission to stop doing for a minute. Notice one thing about this day that was hard. Don't try to fix it yet. Say it quietly in your mind. Let the feeling be true for a moment. Then remember that God hears honest words. God hears your small, trembling voice. God knows more than you say. God knows the whole story. You are not alone inside your confusion. You do not have to sort everything out tonight. You are allowed to begin by simply naming the weight and laying it down, even for a short while. Suffering is not wasted when it teaches you to grow. Pain can be like a teacher with gentle hands. It can be a rough teacher too, but it still can teach. When you walk through a hard season, you learn things you could not learn any other way. You learn where your true needs are. You learn what makes your heart sore. You learn who is steady and who fades away. You learn how to pray in simpler words. You learn to depend on God in fresh ways. The growth is slow, like a tree that grows taller by rings each year. It is not quick like a sudden miracle sometimes. But steady growth changes your roots. You begin to stand differently. Your priorities shift like a compass that finds true north. You start to value the small, steady things more than the loud, flashy ones. You notice kindness more than applause. You appreciate sleep more than busyness. You become more patient with yourself and with others. You may look back and see how a painful time brought a new clarity. You may remember learning to listen longer, to speak softer, to forgive sooner. You may find your faith was not lost, but gradually reshaped. This reshaping is a quiet work of God's hand. Psalm 119 says, and it helps us see that the hard things can teach us wisdom. It talks about how trouble can bring a person closer to God's guidance and care. It reminds you that struggles can be part of learning God's ways and trusting God's heart. This psalm shows that when life presses on you, you can gain deeper understanding. It does not promise quick fixes. It promises that suffering can carry lessons that matter for life. You are not left to learn alone. God trains you gently through experience, like a teacher who guides a child's hand. You are shaped by small choices and new habits. You learn to stop earlier, to breathe before reacting, and to choose rest when the mind wants to rush. Growth through difficulty often asks you to let go of old coping tricks. You may have used worry as a way to feel in control. You may have used busyness to avoid pain. Those ways helped you survive then. Now they may be old tools that need replacing. Practice simple steps. Say a short prayer when worry starts. Take one slow breath. Put your hand over your heart and feel steady. Choose one kind action for yourself tonight. Let growth be patient and gentle. Do not expect a rush of change. Small shifts add up over time. Keep showing up, even in tiny ways. God sees the steady work inside you. God is at work in your quiet moments. You are learning to trust that slow grace. There is a simple truth that steadies the soul. God is a refuge. God is strength ready for you in times of trouble. That is more than an abstract idea. It is a real place to go in your heart. You can picture it like a warm room you enter when the wind blows outside. You can think of it like a shelter you step into when rain begins. The shelter does not erase the storm immediately. It gives you a safe place to wait. You can rest there while the rain passes. You can warm your hands and breathe again. That shelter is God's presence. When you practice entering there, you find it easier to leave the weight outside. You learn to carry less into the night. Perseverance does not mean you never stop to rest. It means you keep returning to that safe place, even when you feel weak. You do not have to perform your way into stability. You simply keep coming, even for a moment. God welcomes the small, honest returns. Perseverance is like walking a path one careful step at a time. You do not sprint where you do not need to. You plant one foot, then the next, and you keep moving toward God. Sometimes perseverance looks like sitting quietly in God's presence. Sometimes it looks like whispering a single word, like help, or rest, or thanks. Sometimes it looks like holding a hand, reaching out to a friend, or forgiving yourself. The simple truth is that God is steady. Psalm 46 says, and it gives a picture of God as a safe place when the world feels unsteady. It tells us that God is with us right in the middle of trouble. That thought helps you stop carrying the whole world alone. It helps you lift the small pieces into God's hands. You do not have to hold everything tightly until morning. You can place a few things down now. Practice a short habit tonight. Choose a word that helps you remember God is near. It might be peace, or shelter, or rest. Repeat it softly when anxiety comes. Picture a light in the room where you are. Imagine God sitting there, patient and calm. Let that image slow your breathing. Let it make space for a little peace. You will not be perfect at this. You will return and try again. That is perseverance in gentle form. Keep coming back, one breath at a time. God will meet you there. There is also a wise warning to hear before bed. Life is shorter than it feels. The days can rush past like water in a river. You can easily spend your time carrying future burdens that belong to tomorrow. You can waste today worrying about what might happen next week. You may think that preparing for the future means worrying now. It does not. Worry does not plan as well as calm action does. Worry steals the strength you have today, and it leaves you weaker when tomorrow arrives. The warning is kind. It asks you to choose what matters with clearer eyes. It nudges you to put your focus where help and life meet. It reminds you to fix your heart on what lasts. One gentle shift of focus is to look at Jesus. Jesus is where rest meets reality. He does not promise a life without trouble. He promises to walk with you through it. He promises to carry what is too heavy for you. He shows the way to live without constant fear. He invites you to lay your burden down and learn from him. He wants you to find a rest that heals, not just pauses. When you keep your eyes on tomorrow's fears, you miss the hand that reaches for you now. Psalm 90 says, and it offers sober wisdom about how short our days can be. It helps you think about using your time with meaning. It encourages you to let today have its due. It asks you to trust God with your tomorrow so you can rest tonight. This psalm helps you see that life is a gift, not a score to settle. Let that sink in. Look at Jesus as your steady companion. Picture him beside you like a friend on a long walk. Imagine him taking a small load from your shoulder. He does not judge you for feeling tired. He offers his own steady peace in exchange. You can ask him now to help you release today's weight. You can ask him to teach you how to live with less carrying. You can ask him to help you use your time kindly. Let these be gentle requests, not harsh commands. Let them feel like leaning on a friend. Now, if you are ready, turn this thought into quiet words. Speak softly to God and to Jesus. Tell them your small tiredness. Ask for help to let go, even for the night. Ask for the courage to focus on what matters tomorrow. Ask for rest that will renew you. The refining process is not always pleasant, yet it brings hope in the end. Think of refining like a gardener pruning a vine. The gardener cuts away what keeps the plant from growing stronger. At the moment of cutting, the herb or branch looks wounded. Later, it bursts into fuller life. The pruning is not cruel. It is aimed at fruitfulness. The process cleans out what is clogged and opens space for new growth. You too are being pruned in certain seasons. God's hands are gentle, even when the tools are sharp. The purpose is life and growth, not harm. It helps you become more true and more useful. It helps you learn to trust differently. It removes habits that hide your heart from real joy. It clears space for peace and steady love. You may not feel like a fruitful person now. That is okay. The refining is underway, whether you feel it or not. God knows each hidden thought and each quiet hope. God sees the small tears and the secret prayers. God walks with you through the fire and the trimming. Nothing you are feeling surprises God. Psalm 139 says, and it gives comfort by reminding us that God knows us completely. It tells us that God sees every part of us, even things we hide. That truth helps you trust God during the refining. You are not alone in the workshop. God is with you in every step. You can welcome the refining because it brings you closer to the heart of God. You can ask God to guide the pruner's hand, to keep only what helps you grow, and to remove what holds you back. Pray for patience to wait on the slow work. Pray for courage to let go of old comforts that block joy. Pray for the faith to believe that this work will not be wasted. It shapes you into someone who carries less and loves more. It crafts a heart that rests easier. Even the hardest cuts teach you to lean into God's presence sooner. You do not have to know every reason today. Trust that the shaping has a purpose. Let hope take the place of constant fear. Let the refining lead you toward gentler rhythms. Ask God to help you notice small signs of new life each morning. Notice a calmer choice made today. Notice a softer word spoken to someone. Notice a less hurried breath. These are signs the refining is working. Keep watching for them. They are small rewards along the way. They show you are moving toward a more settled soul. Now hear a promise that holds you through the night. God draws near to those who feel broken. God does not turn away when your heart hurts. God lifts the low and hears the quiet. There is a reward for those who let go and rest. It may not be the reward you expect. It may not be fame or easy days. The reward is deeper peace, a calmer heart, and a steadier hope. It is the kind of rest that repairs your edges. It is the kind of rest that helps you wake with courage. God's promise is patient and tender. You do not have to rush to prove yourself. You do not have to meet a certain standard to receive God's nearness tonight. The gift is given not because of your strength. It is given because of God's great love for you. Tonight, let that promise settle in your bones like a warm blanket. Psalm 34 says, and it offers comfort by reminding us that God is near to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. It helps you trust that the night is not empty of care. When you bring your tiredness and your small losses, God meets you. This is a safe moment to bring everything that weighs on you. Speak slowly. Tell God about the heaviness. Tell God about the empty places in your chest. Say the simple words you can manage. Ask for rest. Ask for gentle sleep. Ask for healing dreams. Ask for the courage to carry less. Tomorrow. Ask for help to notice one small blessing in the morning. Thank God for any small kindness you saw today. Thank God for a friend who checked in, or a warm drink you held, or a moment of sunlight. Now imagine God tucking you in like a parent covers a child. Feel the warmth of that care. Imagine Jesus sitting near, watching over your sleep. Hear a soft promise that you are kept. Know that you are held until morning comes. Breathe in peace. Breathe out your fears. Let your shoulders soften. Lay the list of burdens down gently at God's feet. Trust that God will hold them through the dark hours. Rest in the knowledge that love surrounds you and will not let you go. Sleep with that assurance. Wake with new strength. Amen.